Welcome everybody to the Dan O'Neill Show version, I don't know, 10, the DOS, the DOS, the DOS. Does not stand for the Department of State, but this is episode 1 of our new show. Between Two Lockboxes was a ton of fun. I'm going to miss doing it, but it limited what I could do and what I could say. I had to play a character. I had to do each episode in person, which was incredibly difficult. I was trying to travel every single week. So, with that said, I wanted to create an entertaining, educational, but also like different podcast experience. Not the typical, hey, how'd you get in the business? Where'd you get started? Why'd you get into real estate? Whatever. I also don't want to limit myself to like only real estate or real estate guests. I want to have on new agents who might be struggling. I want to have on my friends that maybe aren't agents, but they're business people. But more importantly, like I just want to be myself. I want to use the podcast as a way to meet new people, talk about failures that we can all learn from. This podcast it's going to be different. It could be 10 minutes long. It could be 45 minutes long. It could be one guest or maybe 10 guests. There could be surprise guests that Matt and Greg will add in that I have no idea are even coming on the show. And I really want to model this after the Dave Portnoy show. Not that I am even 0.1% of who Dave is, but the show and the premise of it is one of my favorites of all time. So that's what I'm trying to emulate. That's what I'm trying to copy in a way. Dave Portnoy does follow me on Instagram. Not a big deal. But with that said, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be entertaining. Hopefully you can learn something. But more than anything, I'm doing this for myself because I want to have the TikTokification of my content. I want to have somewhere that I could just pull clips from every single day to put on YouTube, put on TikTok, put on Instagram. So whether this does very well or whether one person watches really does not make a difference to me. But I'm telling you right now, this is going to blow up. You guys are going to love this. This is a chance for me to be myself. So with that said, as I fumble over my words, let's bring in Greg here. Greg Coster is going to be the co-host. Greg knows me incredibly well. Greg is our go-to lender, so he kind of sees like the day-to-day, the inside game, if you will. You know, everyone kind of thinks that they know me or the team just because of social media, and that is not the case. Greg actually does.
I do, yeah, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting to moderate this because I think like a lot of people know Dan from all his social media, the funny videos, and even maybe just seeing him in person or at an event, and they don't really understand like if you see the back end of the life of Dan O'Neill, it's quite entertaining. I think you're an interesting cat, but I think this year it's been kind of cool to work with you in business, but also become better friends, and outside of that, kind of just seeing how you handle day to day, the hours that you actually put into your work and into your business. And it's been pretty fun to be a part of.
This is going to be a blast.
Yeah, this is going to be funny. I think what Matt and I are going to try to do as well, as we go on, maybe not today, but the guests that we're going to bring in to really do it off the cuff and to get real time reaction from Dan and like how he's going to actually interact with people. We do not want him to know who's coming on the show. We're literally going to keep people in I think it's called back room or backstage. And we're just going to pop people in. He'll have absolutely no idea who it is. So maybe it's an enemy, frenemy, whatever the case may be. But I think it's going to be pretty funny to watch you react to them.
Yeah, I'm excited. And the topics too are, that we will go over each week. They're going to be like trending topics, like stuff that's happened over the past week, like news that we need to cover, like stuff maybe in my life or your life, whatever it is. It's not going to be like, hey, how long have you been in the business for? Oh, 4 years.
Yeah. I think like getting away from that, like everyone kind of does a real estate podcast, like you said, like tell us how you started and how you got all these accolades. But I think more people will be interested in your life to see like who is also involved in your network. That's not all things real estate, right? Yeah. Like you said, all the people that that started businesses on their own, or they come from different backgrounds, and it'll be cool to kind of hear their stories too.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with how did you get started, and
tell us
about it, but I think that once you have someone on your podcast, or once someone goes on once, it's kind of like the same. It's the same answers, right? It's like the same thing. You kind of hear them all. So I just want to do something different. And more importantly, this is going to be fun. Like I'm really excited to do this. So all right, let's get into it.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of a progression here with our topic. So we will start with the new and improved 2022 Dan O'Neill is currently on a health kick that I must say that I take full responsibility for. But so this guy like doesn't wear watches anymore. He wears a Whoop. So there it is. But with that said, let's hear a little bit about what's going on with your health kick.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had a little bit to do with it, but more importantly, I'm not going to give you any credit here. I Googled like when I was going to die. It's like when am I going to die.com or something, and it said 5 years, which like it's kind of scary. So, and on top of that too, like I mean, I noticed myself like I'm a little pudgy, chubby boy over here. So my fighting weight I've never fought in my life, but when I was in really, really good shape, I was 170, and this was probably a year ago. I weighed myself like 6 weeks ago. I was 190. So I was like,
Ooh.
all right, this is like, I have a quadruple chin underneath my beard. Like, I am unhealthy. And, the easy excuse is like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to eat right. I'm so busy. There's not enough hours in the day, whatever. And seeing other people's success and trying to emulate it, they all have in common that they're going to the gym, they're waking up early, they're eating right, because it does help your mindset and it does help you think clearly. So those are all the different motivations behind it. I have lost 10 pounds, not a big deal. I am wearing this Whoop. This thing tracks your sleep, it tracks your heart rate, it tracks everything. It tells you how unhealthy you are or how healthy you are becoming. So I love it. And this is not sponsored by Whoop. But yeah, I mean, just trying to emulate what other people are doing that are successful. I'm even reading books now.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like over the last couple of years, and let's just say our business in general, it's been kind of controlled chaos where it was kind of easier to operate, and you have the big team and all the different things that you do. So I feel like every day that went on, it was like, I'm rushing through every single day, and there wasn't, for me at least, the reason why I kind of got into a structure like this is because you'd run through your day, and then the end of the day would come, you'd sleep, wake up, and do it again. You had like no time for yourself. Your organization's not there, and really, like, I'd say the second quarter of this year, like your organizational structure, like with people, again, it's stuff that people don't see. Like you have a private Facebook group for your team where you post content every day about training and this and that, summit notes and all the stuff that, again, the value you provide to agents as your team leader. But when you got into that, then you implement this kind of health structure. It just kind of sets you on the right track to have that one thing every day that you do. You wake up early, you have your time to yourself, and you can really kind of allot your time to make yourself a better person.
Yeah, I mean, over the last year, I was talking to Jeff Mays, my coach, about it. How much this has changed, like in terms of like just becoming like a CEO, becoming a really a business owner, like doing the right thing, getting organized, and like the gym and eating right. Like I can't tell you how much better I feel. Like not only just about myself, but like my mindset. Like I have more ideas. I'm able to do more. I'm waking up earlier. I try to do it for like 6 a.m. and then I went to 5 a.m. and now I'm doing it at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm getting a text message at 4:30 about the agenda for the week and the day. So yeah,
But and I love it because now everyone's like, oh shit, Dan's waking up at 4 a.m., 4:30.
what
Like,
am I doing wrong? Fuck.
yeah, exactly. And what I found too is like the easiest way to get out of a meeting is to suggest doing it between like 5 and 7 a.m.
Oh
And
yeah,
everyone's like, no, we'll do it next week. Let's do it next week. I'm like, all right, never happens.
funny.
And last topic too, I guess on this is the book, Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. So emulating other people's success. Tom Ferry, Jeff Mays, they've all, suggested reading this. And I haven't read a book since high school, and I'm not even sure that I did back then either. But now that I'm on this huge kick, and I have been for the last 9 months, I am reading, I'm listening to audiobooks. This book is so good. It's by Phil M. Jones. His audiobook, Exactly What to Say, was like the first one. And then Jimmy Mackin and Chris Smith turned it into What to Say for Real Estate Agents. And check this out, right? It's not sponsored by this book. It has helped me and my team. I'm going to get you right now. Ready? There's two examples here that I'm going to get you on. Ready? And the book, I should probably say, the premise of it is like how to strategically use your words to better your chances or to better your outcome or results when having conversations. It's about like how to articulate, and I'll show you. Ready? Hey, Greg, I love what you are doing, but I need you to come to the office more. What did you remember out of what I just said?
Probably the fact that you harped on a thing that you don't like about me.
Really?
Well, you said, "Hey, Greg, I love what you're doing," but
oh yeah, right. So everything after but, exactly.
Right, but
so,
right.
Hey, Greg, I'm not sure if this is for you, but I have an open house on Saturday. I'm not sure if this is for you, but I'm putting out a new listing. It might match your criteria. What that does is it takes away it takes their guard down. They feel more comfortable, more confident, and they're already saying like, oh well, they already said it's not for me. So what's the harm in checking it out? There's no ties to it. So that's example number one. Example number two, and this is the best. Ready? Hey, Greg, how open-minded would you say you are?
I'd say I'm fairly open-minded.
Of course you said that. How open-minded would you be to reading this book if I told you it could better your business?
For sure.
There you go. You just bought the book. How open-minded would you be to coming to the office 3 times next week? How open-minded would you be to listening to the DOS, this podcast? Of course, you're going to say, yes, I got you, because
Absolutely.
Everybody likes to think of themselves as open-minded. Yeah, I'm pretty open-minded. because the alternative is, are you a closed-minded individual? Absolutely not.
Right.
So by positioning your words and saying them like this book is phenomenal. You can increase your conversion and your odds of getting a yes or an appointment.
I was waiting for you to tell me that as you're talking to me in person or even on this stream, that you're staring into my left eye.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one too. People, they can say I'm crazy, but people don't realize that there's a psychology behind sales and how you articulate your words and how you talk to people, and it even could be where you look them in the eye.
There you go. All
It's
right.
important.
So the next item on the agenda here is that you were in the news, but maybe not for the best reason. But tell us a little bit about this breaking news article where you were cited in.
Any PR is good PR. So I was not in the news. Rather, I was in the penny saver, and not me, but my name was mentioned. And so I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to do a video. I wanted to post it on social media, but I feel like people are going to call me immature. Or they're going to say I'm disrespectful when that's not the case at all. Long story short, after 3 years of having the team, I finally had someone leave and join Element. So, and I have no ill will towards Element. I respect them. I have no ill will towards Brian Jada. I'll give him a little name recognition here. And I have no ill will towards the agent that left. But what's interesting is, they put the agent that left in the penny saver, which is I guess a newspaper around town. And on the bottom of it, it said formerly of the Dan O'Neill team at Signature Premier Properties. I've seen 1,000 agents leave, whether they left Element, they left another company. Yeah, normally it says formerly of Element or formerly of Signature. I've never seen once it actually have the person's name. Imagine the Vinny Martino and Stephanie Kalanoff, everybody that's left that office or them. Imagine Signature put out a thing that said formerly of Brian Jada, Central Suffolk office. It's just
yeah. I mean, you got to look at it a little bit. You got to take that as you must be doing something right. If it's a huge win for someone to say they pulled someone from the Dan O'Neill team.
It's not even the Dan O'Neill team. That's not even what the name of the team is. It's the O'Neill team. And I wish I could take my name off of it, honestly. But, everyone was saying, oh, well, we didn't want to send this to you because we didn't want to get you upset. We didn't want to offend you. Oh, why would I be offended? Why would I be, why am I, I think it's funny. This is a chess game. This business is a chess game. And the fact that I am 28 years old, 4 years in the business, and even at the chess table playing chess with these people who they own it's $1 billion company. They're global, they are worldwide. And just to think that they're sitting there what's that Simpson meme? You know what I'm talking about? Where the guy's he's all proud of himself.
You'll have to bring it up on the screen, man.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring it up on the screen. But if I'm the agent that left my team to go there and I see that, number one, I would bet you $1 billion that she didn't know that was going to be what was in the article. Number two, if I'm her, I would be what is this? Why you're taking this opportunity to throw a shot at Dan? This is supposed to be about me and my announcement. And but you took this time to make sure everyone knew that it was the Dan O'Neill show.
Yeah, I think it kind of worked in the opposite direction. I think is now it's more of a talking point about you than it is the announcement of the new agent, which should be an exciting time for them.
And it shouldn't be that way. And I think it kind of shows the true colors, right? How much ego is behind this business. Can you imagine if every time, and there has been hundreds of instances, especially in the last couple of years, where somebody has left that office and come, maybe gone to Signature, gone to Compass, that every single time they're of this office, of this person's office, it's just very immature. And it's weird to see this person is a grandparent. This person is, I respect them. I wish them a happy Thanksgiving, last week. I have no ill will towards them. It's just why would I get offended by that? I think it's a compliment. And
yeah, I mean, I think you should take it as a compliment as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You should. So, okay. All right. So to move on from that one, we have.
I'm trying to think. Any final thoughts? Did I articulate that the right way?
I think you did. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just ultimately, it really has nothing to do with you, and I don't see the need to drag you into that. But I think one of the best points is can you actually imagine the people that came to your team from somewhere else? You would get shit on if you said formerly of this team at Keller Williams. I don't know. It just seems like it's not something that I would do, and certainly that you haven't done. So.
Yeah, I just don't think it's something that should be done either. I mean, you got to think too. Imagine nobody knows when my contract is up with Signature. Nobody knows when the team is up. So, by doing that, do you think that I'm, chomping at the bit potentially to go and go in that direction?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you just got to do right by people and just do the right thing. I don't know, being petty at that age, and for how much money this gentleman makes doing what he does, and he's very good at it. It's just like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
so moving on.
I made the penny saver, and I didn't have to join Douglas Elliman. Would you look at that?
Perfect. So one of the other things we have here is
I've actually been canceled, by the way.
I've as we move on from that, I've personally seen you try to purchase a new car for the last probably 18 months. And I've been in your car. More recently, we were going to that event in Jersey, and we're driving in your BMW, which you hate.
Yeah.
And that's on your blacklist. But we're driving in the car, and it literally sounded like we were in a pressure cooker oven. It was like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? You're like, I have no idea. Like, I've seen the bumpers fall off. And so I don't know what the hell is going on with you trying to buy a new car, but what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, fast forward like 2 years ago, I tried to get one. There was like the COVID issues with the chips and whatever. There's so many excuses. So I just kept ordering a new car, and then it just never like got delivered. Then I bought my house. So I was like, all right, maybe I don't need a brand new car. And I mean, listen, it's a beautiful BMW. There's not that I'm driving around in a skateboard here, but it's just like, I've been trying to get rid of it. It's kind of got some bad juju. I've had a couple of accidents that I wasn't even driving where somebody's hit me and whatever. So this most recent time, I went to a dealership. I saw a beautiful Range Rover, super excited. I test drive it. It's London green, amazing. I go, hey, so there's no issues here, nothing on the Carfax, right? And they're like, no, there's nothing on the Carfax, no issues. Great. Start running my credit, start doing all this thing. We talk about our payments, and they give me the Carfax, and they try to like sweep it under the rug. And I'm looking at it, and the car was literally totaled. It's a 6-month-old car. It's from 2022. The thing is literally, it's wiped out clean. It's totaled. So I'm like, well, what is this? Like, it says like 0.0 out of 5 on the Carfax. So I'm like, all right, well, this has to be out of like a 0 scale, right? Like, that's the best. And they're like, yeah, no worries. Like, this is it's good to go. It wasn't total. There's no issues. And they just kept pushing me to like buy this car. But what I realized more than anything is like, used car salesmen, real estate agents, we already have like kind of a bad rap as it is. There's already a stigma behind it. So when you don't do the right thing, and like they could have easily just said, hey, bad car, it's been in an accident, let's go to this one, or let's look at another one. The fact that they were trying so hard to push me on that car, like I don't even want to buy a car anymore. I want to ride a Razor scooter, a freaking skateboard around. So it just kind of like goes to show now I have this stigma. Yeah, I see Eric backstage.
Yeah, so do I. I think we gotta let him in.
Wait, can we put that? Bring him in. Bring this fool in here.
Dude, this is insane. I have to sit there and listen to your Carfax report. We have this debate. I have to promote. This is fucking ridiculous. My God.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Eric Simon, aka the broke agent.
How you doing?
Pleasure to have you, Eric.
Bro, your meltdown while you were backstage.
I'm losing my mind here. I'm trying to like promote this debate. My computer wouldn't turn on. I have this new computer. My Bluetooth's going to plug into it for my mic. So good to be here. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're super live. The show has gone up tremendously. We haven't even gotten to some of the topics. That is an all-time moment. I really hope, like, I can't stop laughing. I really hope there's a way that Matt can put that in the show. Dude, I'm literally sitting here trying to tell my story.
My eyes keep going down. Dude, let me in. Let's go. I have to go.
Let's go.
There's a fire going on in his head.
It's going like this.
Losing my mind sitting here listening to your Carfax report. My God.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to edit.
Nobody wants to hear that.
The show's done. All right. For everyone that doesn't know, we have Eric Simon, aka the broke agent, on here. Matt, can we clip in the my intro for Eric from 2 years ago?
I thought your name was Eric Stickle.
Yeah. Stick is my nickname. I was really skinny in high school, so it's Dr. Stickstein is the personal for little plug.
You know what? I see that video of myself, and I have significantly more hair 2 years ago than I do now.
Oh,
and it's depressing to see that because I have been on every single hair growth regimen known to mankind, and now looking at that video, that really pisses me off.
Well, I think the funny thing is, and the reason I wanted to showcase that was what, 2 or 3 years ago. I couldn't even pronounce your last name. I thought your last name was Stickle, not even Simon. And look at us now, man.
Yeah, look at us, man. Doing another podcast, man.
And you want to talk about hair? I've been in one for a year now. I would even say since August. And what I've noticed is I'm starting to become Byron Lazine. Like, look at this gray patch right here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you start furiously working, getting up at 3, 4 a.m. and being ultra productive, you start to sprout a little gray patch in the top right corner right there. Thankfully, I don't have that yet.
Imagine me and Byron both just have matching like little gray patches right here. Oh my
That'd
god,
be ridiculous.
All right, Greg. I think the first thing we want to talk about was Summit, and how mad you were at me because I was not being funny or I wasn't entertaining you. I was just sitting there viciously taking notes.
You're talking to me?
I'm talking to Eric. And
No, you said Greg.
oh, sorry. I'm talking to
I think
everybody.
Eric was at Summit.
Yes, I was sitting next to you. I was not mad
Right.
at you. It was, a new Dan O'Neill that we witnessed at Summit. Usually we go to these conferences, we party a little, we network. Yep, the glasses, there they are. Transforming from Clark Kent to Superman. That's exactly what he does. But yeah, Dan was getting up before me in the hotel. He was first one at the conference, front row, and was really taking it seriously, which was cool to see because we've kind of used these things really more as like a networking event and like, hey, let's get our names out there. Let's meet people. Let's make people laugh. But you have an actual real estate business. So the information you're getting from Tom Ferry and Pantana, and it's really helpful for me as well, just from like a brand building perspective, but you're actually learning at this conference. Like there's a reason people go to these and it's not just to, get hammered, right?
Yeah.
So you actually you took a ton of notes and you've completely did a 180 on your business and your content. And it's been a real like massive evolution since that event in August. It's been cool to see, kind of annoying, but cool to see.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it. That Greg and I were kind of talking about it too, because a lot of people see like the content and they see us like joking around and just like having fun and being satirical, but they don't actually realize like how much work goes into it and how much has changed, I would say, in the last year or 6 months, and going from like, the funny content to kind of, running around with like my head or a chicken with his head cut off to actually now waking up at 4 a.m., growing gray hairs here and making sure that my business is in the right spot.
Yeah.
So
what's the point of waking up at 4 a.m. though? Where did this come from?
So that came from really, I tried like 6 a.m. and it was like, all right, this is working. And then what I noticed is like I would text them at 4 a.m. or like 4:30 and they'd be like, oh my God, like you're up at 4 a.m., 4:30. And it kind of just like snowballed from there. And I get so much done because no one's awake. I don't have to deal with like the daily bullshit of like, hey, my car broke down. I can't get to 10 showings. So can you call me? So it's kind of just like having peace. Like no one's bothering me.
Yeah.
What time are you waking up?
Sorry, I thought Greg was gonna say something there.
Well, I was gonna piggyback off of on the business note, because as you do a lot of the content stuff with him, like I actually see like the actual business side of him, how he runs the team, how he runs his operations, and coming back from where you said that was in August.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was probably right when I think we realized that this market's probably going to kind of stay tough. And I think that if the way that you're running your team now and your business now as more like a CEO, like we talked about, if that wasn't implemented, I think sooner than later, I think this market could have taken control more than you took control of the market. And I think that that's why you're still seeing the transactions, the success, people still wanting to work, come and work with you. So I think that for whatever you learned there, I don't know if they hypnotized you or anything, but it was definitely it was
Dude,
a cool
I'm telling
experience.
He like didn't even pick up the phone for 72 hours after. He was like mad at me for this for like not taking notes, I guess. I was like, who is this guy that I'm with right now? But it has been cool.
He put in his private Facebook group, I want to say it's like 85 pages of notes from this thing. And I was like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
There's Rain Man over here with the notes.
Listen,
ridiculous.
Eric's right. We've gone to plenty of these. We've actually gone and we've never even shown up. We went all the way to Vegas and we didn't even go to the event. We literally
we didn't even come close to going to the event. We were in the casino the entire time. But again, we filmed a bunch of content, got podcasts. We were there for networking. We were promoting the event. So we were doing that as well. It's not like we just go there and party and leave. It's like we are literally like building our brand so people could actually meet us. And it's not just that like key logo people think of. But Dan, going back to you waking up at 4 a.m., which I don't necessarily believe. I don't think you're doing this every single day. I don't know how you're going to prove it. I don't know how you're just going to try to prove it right there. Maybe I guess the text messages you've been sending, but I do agree. I've been waking up now at 5:30 or 6 because with BAM, BrokeAgent Media, we run as like an East Coast media company. So I wake up to like 10 angry texts from Byron every morning at like 5 a.m. because he's up at 5 a.m. East Coast time, which is 2 a.m. my time. So he's already moving and the wheels are already spinning. And we have to have content up before agents actually even, wake up basically. Like, Inman News has content and articles up. Housing Wire has content and articles up. So we have to be on that grind. And now I'm fully operating like on East Coast time, which is great, way more productive. And then I can end my day a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and Byron's also like absolutely in one every morning when he wakes up from like 4 a.m. to like 11 a.m. and then you don't hear from him. So he's like getting all that stuff done, and he's probably peppering you with messages first thing in the morning. It's what so I wanted to talk a little bit about failures. I know Greg and I have this on our list too. How different is it going from like, I mean, obviously people don't really realize you spent 7 or 8 years building the BA brand, but now you're like a CEO of a media company. Like now, you're going from memes and email lists and platforms to really a completely like we're doing a debate in an hour and a half on agents versus appraisers. Like we're doing like very real stuff that other people aren't doing. Nobody's doing. So how is that like? How is that transition from going from a male to a female? No, how is that?
That's coming soon.
How is the trend? No offense. That was maybe we cut that.
Not offended.
How's the transition going? Like I obviously talk to you every single day, but for the people that don't talk to you every day, that are lucky, how's that going?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's way more fulfilling than just posting funny content. I mean, I was always doing half real estate, half broke agent stuff until basically like the mid-pandemic. So I was never like fully bought in. I always knew that was going to become like my full-time profession. But when you have 1 foot in real estate, horrible position to be in, and then 1 foot in content, also horrible position to be in, because then you're just kind of all over the place. You're like, where do I focus my energy?
And for you, with your 2 fake legs, it's really 1 peg leg in, 1 peg leg out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a pirate just clinking around here in Brentwood. But it's been a really fun transition. It's been, really natural too. Like it started really with the Broke News Network and Ben Fisher, and you were a guest on that multiple times and sent us funny videos. It's like, how can I do different content than just posting kind of memes and tweets and blogs and stuff? So that was kind of like the first rendition of let's be a front-facing kind of media company-esque. And that was like an 8 to 10 minute show, kind of SNL style weekend update, where we would basically run through a list of real estate topics, kind of like the walkthrough now. I would, have my marketing takes. Ben would talk more about the real estate news, and it was like funny jokes back and forth. And the feedback on that was really good, but that was an Instagram show. No one watches Instagram shows. So we weren't in the right place. We should have been on YouTube basically. And then that kind of evolved into the Overask podcast with Matt. And then Byron and I have always been talking about, hey, let's merge. Let's build a real estate media company that's video first, unlike these other media companies that don't seem to be touching video or podcasting or anything like that. So to answer your question, it's been a crazy transition. It's nonstop content.
Yeah.
It's now not just for me, right? So when I'm just posting memes and trying to like grow an Instagram following, the only responsibility is to me. And if I don't do that and I'm not growing my following, then I'm not making money. But now it's like I'm responsible to Byron. We have a staff of 9 people. We have bloggers, we have writers, we have video editors, and then we have an audience that's growing that wants blogs, that wants podcasts, that wants debates and all this stuff. So now it's like
and
you can't take
contributors
a
too.
day off.
And you guys have a ton of people that are writing blogs for you, other agents, top professionals in the industry. And like you guys were giving me my flowers, which I really appreciate. I need them after being in the Penny Saver. But like for you guys too, like Greg and you, Eric, like we're very young. We're surrounding ourselves with Byron and Tom Toole and all these people who like they're much older than us. They've been around, they have the experience. Like we all kind of like Greg's only 25 years old, 24, Greg?
25, yeah.
It's crazy. So like we're all surrounding ourselves with the right people, and like I feel like over the past year we've all matured like tenfold, and to see how much all of our businesses have evolved in the last year it's been awesome. And it's like it's fun, right? Because now it's like something else to chase after, something else to do. Whether it's starting BAM, Greg, I don't know if I can share your announcement, or it's expanding down to Florida. There's now like something else to chase, and kind of like reignites you a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it couldn't have just gone on as it was, right? Like there was no way I was going to make a career out of just continuously posting the same, 50 jokes over and over and over again. And I knew that I had more to give and that I actually had marketing chops because I've built email lists, I've built Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. And, Byron's been such an incredible addition and partner to this because he's just as obsessed with content and marketing as I am. And then he has the business sense and, as the #1 team in Connecticut, and he's still, he doesn't run. He runs the team. He's not like an active agent.
He doesn't even live in Connecticut. That is
he doesn't even live in Connecticut. Yeah, he's a boss.
Yeah, I was gonna interject what I admire about kind of actually what both of you guys have done, but I think people don't realize it takes like a particular, whether it's like a skill or a talent, to actually recognize when your wheels are just kind of spinning. Where you think, you look at your business, like you just said, Eric, and it's like, I just can't keep doing this. I have to go for the next level. There's so many people that are scared to do that. And I think it goes down to who you're associated with. Like you said, with Byron, even like my association with Dan this year, I realized like I have to always keep expanding, because very, very quickly a market can change and you're used to a certain market. And now you're flat on your heels. So if you're surrounded by the right people that are always going and reaching for higher levels, I think that that's just like the biggest thing that really people need to do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Totally true. And that's exactly what we do with Byron and Tom Toole and like the Tom Ferry organization and stuff. And that's why going to those conferences is reinvigorating, even if we're, Dan now paying attention and everything, but you are just around people that like, they are there to improve themselves. They are there because there's energy in the crowd. They're there because they're masterminding with all these people. And it's just created such a collaborative environment. What are you laughing at? For all of us.
This is just a very, very serious show. I thought this was going to be like a little funnier. I mean, can we roll back to the clip of Eric
cheerleading in the back?
Oh my God.
Well, look, we're a bunch of serious dudes here. That's all. We're just trying to provide a little bit of value. If you want yucks, go to the page. There's an appraisal meme up there for you. You can laugh at that.
Oh man. All right. Well, we do have I got to let you go soon because we do have the appraisal debate in an hour and a half, and I do have my holiday party tonight. True or false? You said that I was your best friend in the industry in your thankful Thanksgiving post.
True. I did say that.
You wrote
thought about deleting the word best, but I'd say, we go on trips together. We've gone on golf trips. We talk on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man rules, right? So that's
what number round was it together when I believe you guys were playing at Montauk Downs, where Dan could not hit
we're
a
not
golf
talking
ball?
about that. That was.
I mean,
how many times together was that though? Was that your first experience of watching him golf?
No. We golfed in Palm Springs. We golfed in South Carolina. Dan beat me those first few times, and then at Montauk.
Well, I was going to say he's actually
3 times. I mean,
he's
3
actually
rounds.
He's a good golfer.
Yeah,
but that video was terrible.
All right.
He was a disaster at Montauk Downs. That was one of the worst golf I've ever seen in my entire life. He couldn't hit a fairway.
I beat Eric in the entire trip in Palm Springs. Beat Eric the entire trip in
trip in Palm Springs was 1 round, by the way.
Entire trip in Vegas. I beat him in Vegas again. Then I beat him in
We've never played golf in Vegas. We played in Dallas.
Okay, beat you in Dallas. So I beat you every time. The only weekend, and that was probably the worst weekend of my life. That was the worst trip of my life. I had the shanks. I was flustered beyond belief. Eric and I had to drive 10 hours to Jersey City. This kid wouldn't even let me look at my phone, dude. We had to sit there the entire
Greg,
car ride to
have
Jersey.
you driven?
I remember that's where I met you, Eric.
Yeah,
you were in Edgewater.
Yeah, exactly. And I was on edge in Edgewater because of the 48 hours that I went through with this lunatic.
Driving a car?
Oh my God.
Oh,
I literally, I had to seriously look at him. Like, we're always just, joking and giving each other shit, basically. I looked at him and said, I'm not dying tonight. I'm not, I'm about to get married. I don't care if I'm insulting you right now with looking at your phone. He's driving, down the Jersey Turnpike going 85, flipping through Instagram and TikTok. The road is completely secondary. The road is like, the third thing he's interested in. And then he's blasting Tekashi 6ix9ine, turning it off. He's blowing strawberry puff smoke into my face. That might have been the worst drive of my life.
When we were in Manhattan for we were there for Inman, but also the event. We had another event in Jersey. And I remember I think you guys filmed with Lionetti, right? In that like weird hotel room. But same thing, guys driving or walking down the streets of Soho and phone like glued to his forehead and literally almost got hit by 10 cars. Didn't give a shit. Like not regard for anything in the world, but his phone and him just walking.
Greg, I had to distract him like a child and play a sports game with him where I was like, okay, if I say Alex Rodriguez, use that Z and say Zach Wilson. And then you would say what, Dan?
I would say Sammy Sosa.
No, it's N.
Zach
Wilson.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Nick Castellanos.
Okay.
I was laughing.
And then I would say Sammy Sosa.
Oh, dude, we played that for 6 hours. This kid, every time I open my phone, I'd be like, dude, I don't want to. I'm not dying today.
Yeah, he opens his phone. I'm like, Mark McGuire. Randy Johnson, please, something.
That probably plays into why you blow out a tire every 2 days.
I mean, I actually got into a car accident the driving into the city for Sirhan 2 weeks ago. I was texting and driving, and I just smoked like one of the guardrails and just bumped. Like I bumped off of it.
Dude, you gotta stop doing that.
I can't.
For your own. No, of course you can. There's
I
not like
can't.
a texting and driving addiction going on here. This is
It's not.
just
It's not an addiction. I'm working. I have to. I need like I can't get a driver because I get really car sick, so I have to just do it myself. What happens if I drive for 2.5 hours? I just don't look at my phone.
I mean, everybody like looks at their phone and glances and responds to stuff at lights, but I'm talking going 85 down the New Jersey Turnpike or whatever road.
Do you ever see on turnpikes like that? They actually have like a texting section. Like it's legit. I don't think anybody ever uses it, of course, but there's literally a little shoulder on the side of every turnpike that you can pull over and text. Not that
you should just do that.
Listen, I'm not suggesting that you text and drive. I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying that I do it.
Busy guy.
And hold on, time out. And you're going to chirp me. I drove for 3 hours from Brentwood, California to Palm Springs with this kid. And we were listening to CDs the entire time. This kid had like, you ever been like a Sweet 16? Like it was like R&B, like R. Kelly type stuff.
Yeah, we were listening to Akon and T-Pain and a bunch of, 2006 to 2010 throwbacks, which is, kind of the peak of my musical interest, I would say. So
that was the worst drive.
At least I wasn't putting us in, physical jeopardy, just your ears. But
you got to see this kid's car, dude. Every hole, every facet, there is baby wipes, there is sanitizer, there is Q-tips, there's toothpicks, like he has cream, he's got and there's just
is it organized?
If you have dry skin, I got you. If you have bad breath, I got you. If you need to floss your teeth, if you need to put on suntan lotion because a little sun is coming through the window, you're going to be safe. I mean, it's the perfect driving experience. Besides, I guess, listening to bartender.
Great. Bro, it's like a driving in a CVS. Oh my God. I know we got the debate coming up. Anything else? Greg, you have anything else for Eric? I don't want this kid to have a meltdown here.
I think
what do you have?
Eric's gonna be you're gonna be a recurring guest for sure. If you'll come back.
Yes, so Eric, what we're gonna do on the back end of the show is that every week we are not going to tell Dan who the guests are going to be. So he can't have any preconceived notions about what he wants to say to either you or someone else. So we're hoping to create a little bit of a mess when we enter. But maybe the guests will also be freaking out in the backstage like you were as well. But
a little surprise factor for each episode.
This guy looked like a freaking meme. All right, we're approaching 40 minutes. Anything else, Eric? Any funny stories? Can you make us laugh? Can you do anything?
No, I'm not going to tell any jokes. We're about to host this BAM debate. I mean, I don't know when this podcast is coming out. So at this point, I'm sure the debate already happened because it's live in an hour and 20 minutes. But we're hosting a live debate between agents and appraisers, Byron Lazine versus Scap the appraiser. And this is just one of those like new BAM things that we're doing. It's fun because we're all trying to promote this live link to this video about what people do in the industry that like no one else is hosting live debates or anything like that. So it's a real kind of like new piece of content for the real estate industry.
It's also a real issue, like battling with appraisers, like even lenders and agents. Like Dan he was sitting at an appraisal the other day, and what was going on there was like an appraiser outside. Like it just was real though.
For 58, I just asked him, hey, have you seen any slowdown yet? I got a 58-minute economics lesson. This guy was talking to me about 1972. He was like, yeah, I'm a wannabe economist. He was talking about 1972, Nixon's Watergate. I'm like, buddy,
dude, I got it out of here.
57 minutes.
Yeah.
He appraised the house for 1 minute. He had like a Nokia flip phone. He was just like,
they're literally in so quick. It's unbelievable.
Okay,
I guess we'll see him.
Yep. All right. Well, Eric, I think just froze here. I'm
back. Yeah. So anyway, it'll be a fun debate, and we want to get the live chat going. We did one with Ricky Caruth and Byron that was pretty good, and we want to do like an EXP versus real debate. So anyone watching this, if you guys have any ideas, I guess drop them in the comments if there's comments. This is going to be streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, excited for the debate. I'm actually sweating really bad. I'm really nervous because I know Byron's going to go off on an absolute tirade against his appraiser, so I'm a little concerned about that.
I know. We haven't. I don't know what this guy sounds like. Like the thing with Ricky Caruth is we've seen Ricky. Like Ricky, has a good presence on video. Like we know kind of what he's going to say. This is just some like random appraiser from an appraisal group. He's prominent, and he has like a big group of appraisers who hate Byron, who have been talking shit about Byron for literally 2 years. So it's going to be funny to see if like he brings his entire crew with him, and if they're like chirping in the comments, or if anyone cares about this. Who knows?
Yeah,
like maybe it's just Greg watching. I don't even know.
I'll be
But-
watching.
All right, it'll be sick.
Oh man, I'm so nervous.
wonder.
All right. Anyway, really last point here. True or false? Did you almost come up with a book or label yourself as Dr. Love? in
Oh
regard
yeah,
to
of course, the
dating?
digital game. Yeah, I was writing after a breakup in 2013, a sudden breakup, not on my accord.
Yeah.
We were about to go get sushi. She goes in my car, and it's just like, we're not going to get sushi. In fact, we're not seeing each other ever again.
Oh,
And I
Lord.
was destroyed, rattled, because at the time I was like a receptionist at a brokerage called Hilton and Highland, and had no idea where I was going with my career. So this is kind of like, what I had going on, social life, of course, as well. But
yeah.
then I was thinking to myself, like, breakups, in this, era are just so different than, 1970, 1980, obviously. Like, when you break up with a girl in 1970 or 1980, 1990, even early 2000s, you don't see that person all over social media. You're not
again.
interacting with that person digitally. You never see that person again. Maybe you like call their, parents' phone or something like that, and then you get to talk to her. But then I started getting on all of the dating apps. I was on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, J-Swipe for the Jews, and I'm Jewish. And went on one J-Swipe date. It was a disaster. But I like started kind of figuring out all these tactics, like how to extract a girl's number immediately. I thought about like, the timing. If she texts you back in 15 minutes, you text her back, and kind of like, kind of douchey game type of stuff. But I was also good at my friends would always ask me questions about like how to respond to a girl or something like that. And I'd be good at like, hey, post on her friend's Facebook wall, like all these kind of like diversion tactics, the digital game. You know how Mystery wrote the game?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Not
Makes
that anyone here has read that book, of course,
No.
but it was basically like how to, do these little operations, Venmo her $1 as a joke, do this, Venmo request her, like all these little things you could do on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter that were basically non-existent back in the day.
Oh man, well, shout out to Anne, because everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
she's really the jokester. Like, she's your ghostwriter.
Yeah.
But you know what would really take that book off if you actually wrote it is if you had Phil M. Jones narrate it in his British, like, sexy.
Yeah.
Hey Eric, how open-minded are you?
I've had enough of this Phil Jones guy.
All right, cut this.
I don't even know
All
who
right.
this guy is.
All right, Eric, thank you. Thanks for coming. Greg, anything else for Eric here? Nope, he's frozen. All right. Well, Eric, I'll see you in probably 5 minutes.
See you in 5 minutes. See
All
you.
right.
I think so. Some people want to hear a little bit of the personal life of Dan O'Neill. So this weekend you do have Art Basel. Now, before you say anything, I believe you've been saying it wrong. I think it's Basil, because I was out this weekend and friends of friends like, oh, this girl's got to go back tomorrow. She's going to Miami. I was like, oh, big weekend, Art Basel. She's like, the fuck is that? I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's Basil. I'm like, no, we're conflicted here. But you went last year.
Amanda and Charles just try to tell me that it's Art Basel. Like, I've heard that more times than not, but I've been 2 years in a row, and I've consistently, and I will stick to saying it's Art Basel.
Not Basil.
Not Basil. It's Basil. That is insane. That is diabolical. But yes, I am going. I have not taken any trips or any time off or any weekends or anything since, I would say, the end of July in Montauk. So I'm excited to try to get away for like 3 days.
And last year you went and got swine flu and spent thousands of dollars on art. So hopefully one of the two doesn't happen this year.
Hopefully neither. I don't think I can get COVID anymore. I've already had it like too many times, I think, an abnormal amount of times. So I think I'm 3 for 3 with that. And I will not be buying any art this year. But no, it was a great experience last year. And I actually had to buy my house because I bought art last year. So
there you go.
I have no room for it. I have zero room.
Maybe soon.
Definitely soon. All right. Anything else here before we wrap up the episode 1 here of the DAS? This was an absolute diabolical episode. I just can't get over Eric's
bunch of different directions.
You look like a little kid playing Call of Duty, dude. I can't get over it. I can't get it out of my head.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a good little intro to see how we're filming this literally every single Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody's gonna get kind of real-time feedback of, they might see a little bit on your stories or a little bit about what you post, but all the time and space in between, I think this is where we can kind of break down what actually goes into the life of Dan O'Neill.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping that this is educational. I'm hoping that this is entertaining. I'm hoping to be able to be myself. So if you liked episode 1, make sure you like and subscribe here. Leave us a comment. If you hated it, you could do the same. It's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, now we have clips to post out. I mean, that clip of Eric raging will be viral forever. So mission accomplished.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Have fun this weekend.
See you on the Penny Saver.